middle of 2024, I don't think we'll see anything spectacular. We might see $75,000, $80,000 Bitcoin, but I think 2025 is going to be the spectacular year. We're looking at north of 300,000 for Bitcoin. We're forecasting right now sometime in September.
Why September of 2025?
Just based on it's surprising how similar the previous bull runs are, the charts are, to the current timing. And so based on the fact that they're really kind of following the same pattern, that's the best forecast we have to when the peak of the next bull run is going to be.
Over the past few days, after hitting a 2023 high of $38,000 on November 9, Bitcoin prices have retraced, dropping to a low of $35,000 on Tuesday. Despite the temporary weakness, experts expect the leading crypto asset to resume its rally this week and breach the $38,000 yearly high before the week ends. But Ken Olling, the founder and chief executive officer of MELD, a non-custodial DeFi protocol for Web3 finance, says there is an even bigger rally to look forward to in 2024 and 2025. According to the renowned entrepreneur, who in his 20 years of experience has collaborated with companies like Audi and General Electric, Bitcoin will easily smash new all-time highs by mid-2024 after the 2024 Bitcoin halving event and the approval of a spot Bitcoin exchange-traded fund by the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. But that will only be the beginning of the bull run. Ken is predicting a bigger rally for Bitcoin in 2025, the year after the halving, which has typically always been a great year for the leading crypto asset. After smashing new all-time highs and hitting around $80,000 by mid-2024, Ken is predicting that the rally will continue until Bitcoin hits around $300,000 per coin by September 2025. The rally will, of course, spread beyond Bitcoin into other crypto assets. Ken is also predicting at least a 376% increase in the price of Solana and a pretty amazing bull run for Ether. During a recent interview with Kitco News, the entrepreneur and MELD founder also discussed his views about the approval of a spot Bitcoin ETF by the SEC. According to his predictions, it is no longer a possibility that the Commission will approve a spot Bitcoin ETF. It is completely inevitable at this point. Ken is almost 100% certain that the SEC will approve the Blackrock application and other applications in a few weeks, and when that happens, Bitcoin's price will really take off. We will now bring you clips from Ken's interview. But before we do, please take a little time to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. Also, be sure you drop your comments and your own predictions for post-ETF and post-halving Bitcoin in the comments section below. Thanks and enjoy the video.
The SEC has until the 24th of January to be able to give a verdict as to whether the application goes forward or it's rejected. So we'll know on the 24th. This is why we're seeing so much kind of Bitcoin getting priced into it being approved. BlackRock has had lots of ETFs. They've only ever had one rejected. And that one that was rejected ended up getting approved in the end. So they have, like you said, a near perfect record. And as a result of this, I think everybody sees that, they wouldn't be doing this if they didn't know that they were able to get it through the gate. And if you look at, there's some, since ETFs started, there's some 200 plus ETFs that have been created. The most funded ETF in the first 24 hours was the Bitcoin futures ETF. So I think what you're seeing is both the traditional institutions, they see that when these ETFs go live, they're going to consume a huge amount of Bitcoin out of the ecosystem. And it's going to be a huge boon for them, for their margins, for their value locked on their platforms. And it's going to be a big win for everybody else in crypto, because when there's fewer Bitcoin, then the price is going to go up and it's going to bring everything else up. So I think that it is almost inevitable if they were to be rejected, then yeah, I think that I don't think it would be so much of a regulatory problem. I think it would be a political problem. I think that politically, the SEC is not in a position to be able to say no to something like this. Crypto is a forward-looking asset. And so people see this coming. They see that people are starting to accumulate Bitcoin because they know they're going to have places to sell it to, whether it's BlackRock or Fidelity or the other, whatever, dozen ETFs that are in application. all of them will be, or most of them will be approved. The SEC can't simply approve Blackrock and then not approve these other ones. It would be a complete disaster from the sort of management on their side. And so I think that they'll all be approved over time, and that is going to just change the nature of how crypto is looked at, how crypto is invested in. It won't affect any of the traditional sort of crypto people like me, but it will bring a lot of new money into it. It will bring all the institutions. It'll bring, lots of people that would normally not get access to it, that currently they have to buy MicroStrategies in order to get access to Bitcoin. Now they'll have a more formal way of getting into the asset, and they'll see the gains, at least in the short term.
So you're saying the chances of an approval are what? Give it to me in percentage terms.
I would say well north of 97, 98%. So personally, pretty much all the smart people I know are saying that people will sell the news. So there'll be a downturn in the price and then a consolidation, and that consolidation will then mark the beginning of the next bull market. The challenge that I have is that pretty much everybody I know is saying that, and everybody I know is waiting for that to happen in order to buy some more Bitcoin. And as a result, I don't think it's going to happen. I think that when BlackRock gets approved, then everybody will get into full swing in buying Bitcoin in preparation to be able to sell it on to their own ETFs. And so I think it's just going to be a huge injection into the market. There might be a downturn, but I don't think it will be what people are saying, which is kind of, immediately after the BlackRock announcement, then the price will go down, we'll get a retracement, and then we'll sort of start to move up. I think there might be something maybe a month after that. I do believe that there is going to be a downturn. I think the euphoria will burn off after maybe a month or a month and a half of the ETF. But once that happens, then I think we're well underway for the next bull market.
Ken is certain that the SEC is about to approve a spot Bitcoin ETF, and he is not the only one that has become more optimistic in the past few days. ARK Invest CEO Cathie Wood, whose asset management firm also has a pending application with the SEC, has revealed that something has changed in the SEC's attitude to a spot Bitcoin ETF. During a Tuesday interview with CNBC, Wood noted that the chances of approval have really gone up. This time, we got questions back from the SEC. Wood began, "This means they're engaged, indicating a higher likelihood of approval." During the interview, Wood also reiterated her previous prediction of Bitcoin hitting $600,000 or more before 2030. According to the renowned hedge fund manager, $600,000 to $650,000 is ARK Invest's base case for Bitcoin. She believes it could go much higher because of scarcity, institutional adoption, and a spot Bitcoin ETF.
More or less, do you have a price forecast of where you see Bitcoin at, say, middle of 2024, keeping in mind we also have the halving event in April?
Yeah, so middle of 2024, I don't think we'll see anything spectacular. We might see $75,000, $80,000 Bitcoin, but I think 2025 is going to be the spectacular year. We're looking at north of 300,000 for Bitcoin.
North of 300,000 for Bitcoin by end of 2025?
We're forecasting right now sometime in September.
Why September of 2025?
Just based on it's surprising how similar the previous bull runs are, the charts are, to the current timing. And so based on the fact that they're really kind of following the same pattern, that's the best forecast we have to when the peak of the next bull run is going to be. Like you said, if there's macro events, that's going to obviously make some difference. But based on these repeating charts, and what we're seeing of the run-up, it'll be sometime around September that we'll see the peak of the next bull run. And I think that with all of these ETFs coming into full swing, we're not going to shake off any of the problems we have in regards to inflation and, the fact that we have way too much money in the system. And I think that people are going to see the dollar going down in value and the perceived value of Bitcoin going up. Obviously, it goes up partially because the dollar is going down. And then just the massive accumulation of Bitcoin into these ETFs. I just think it's going to be, they're just going to suck all of the oxygen out of the air for Bitcoin, and it's going to cause a almost like a panic level rally. Our models are well north of 200 or 250 for Solana. I mean, Solana is such a peculiar character, right? Because it's the only blockchain that has maintained its kind of fame for or popularity for two bull markets, right? Most of these blockchains, they end up having this, huge success in one bull market, and then they kind of lose a lot of their momentum. But Solana was north of 200 in the last bull market. So we fully expect it to go much farther than what it did in its last bull market. So yeah, well north of 200. I would not at all be surprised to see Solana at 350 at all.
Over what time period, more or less?
Yeah, 2025. Ethereum is interesting because it tends to be more kind of serious. It's less speculative. It's more of the kind of grown up. It's the base layer for everything. So I think that Ethereum obviously will do very well. It'll probably run parity to Bitcoin in that sense. I would like to see Ethereum do a lot better. I would like to see it being recognized for what it actually is. Which is this kind of foundational layer for a lot of what crypto is built on. But it seems to be kind of being held back because of, I guess partially it's because it has such a vibrant ecosystem. The people have so many different assets that they can invest in that it kind of draws some of that liquidity that would normally go into Ethereum. But Ethereum will do great. I think the big challenge is going to be gas prices. I mean, we're already seeing yesterday, gas prices at huge levels, and we're not anywhere near a bull market. And so, I mean, that's going to be the big challenge, I think, going forward is, as we move forward, having gas prices of, $100, $200, $500, $1,000, that's really going to be a crippling thing as we go.
During the interview, Michelle and Ken also discussed the huge Bitcoin stockpile owned by the United States government. According to a recent report from 21shares.com, the U.S. government is one of the biggest holders of Bitcoin, with over 200,000 Bitcoin. According to the report, the U.S. government has seized at least 215,000 Bitcoin since 2020. Some of the most notable ones include the 69,369 Bitcoin linked to an anonymous individual X who hacked the funds from the dark web internet marketplace Silk Road in 2013. The U.S. government also seized 94,643 Bitcoin associated with Ilya Lichtenstein and his wife, Heather Morgan, in January 2022. The report also revealed that the U.S. government may be gradually sending some of its stockpile to cryptocurrency exchanges. It reportedly sent about 9.9 thousand Bitcoin worth around $221.7 million at the time of the transfer to Coinbase, raising speculation of a potential sale. Regardless, the U.S. government is still recognized as one of the biggest holders of Bitcoin, controlling about 1.06% of Bitcoin's circulating supply as of March 22, 2023. The U.S. government holds 2 of the top 10 largest Bitcoin wallets. Do you think the government will sell more of its stockpile or hold on to them until prices really take off? Please drop your replies as well as your comments on Ken's interview and predictions in the comments section below. Also, ensure you subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.